Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross and I was always told I had a voice for radio, so today I'm showing you my very first review on Wassy Plays, the Fast and Furious Forza Horizon 2 crossover on the Xbox One. And I think that was an accurate intro, because every time you start this game, you have to watch the Universal logo. Universal, of course, being the studio that makes the Fast and Furious films. The difference is, on a YouTube video, you can skip that bad boy, but on the game, you can't. It's unskippable. But the question is, how much of a Fast and Furious game is this, given that we get the Universal logo at the beginning and the branding is clearly there? Well, the first time you start the game, you get an unskippable montage of clips from the Fast and Furious film. What makes me happy is that all of these clips only involve cars. Now, if you squint and really look hard, you might be able to see a human driving one of the cars, but the clips make it very clear that the Fast and Furious films are about the cars. Don't worry about the people, they don't matter, just ignore them, just pretend they're not there. Other than that, we have the achievement names, and the achievements are named generally after quotes in the films, like Too Fast, Too Furious, or An Inch and a Mile. I think there's one called A Quarter Mile at a Time. And that's basically it in terms of Fast and Furious. If you're looking for a full-on Fast and Furious feels like you're in the movies, this doesn't really do so any more than Forza Horizon 2 would on its own. You very much just get the Universal logo, the little montage, which luckily only happens the first time you turn on the game, doesn't make you watch it every time, and you get the achievement names. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, it might as well not be a Fast and Furious game.
The Nissan GTR, these things are faster and faster, and faster still.
So this game was released free when Fast and Furious came out, and it's called Fast and Furious, and it's clearly supposed to be a tie-in to the movie. It's one of those things where, hey, if people on their Xbox download this game, they might watch the movie, and if they watch this movie, they might go watch the game. And the marketing for it was very, very clever. It was free on the Xbox marketplace until the film was released, i.e. before the film was released, you get it for free, and then you can go, ooh, I fancy watching the film. After the film was released, the price was raised to £12 in the UK and an equivalent price in the US. Essentially, Xbox users got the game for free to entice them to watch the film, and moviegoers, if they wanted the game afterwards, had to go and actually purchase the game. Which does make quite a bit of sense. So how much of a Forza Horizon 2 game is it? And the answer is quite a bit. It's the Forza Horizon 2 engine. But it's more than just using the engine. It's the Forza Horizon 2 game. It's got the same graphics. It plays exactly the same. It uses the same map. Now, obviously, as this is a £12 downloadable game, it doesn't use a full Forza Horizon 2 map. It gives you a portion thereof. It plays like the game, it looks like the game, and all of the modes are exactly like the game. But the main mode is ever so slightly different. On Forza Horizon 2, you're running around a festival doing random races because it's a car festival. In the Forza Horizon 2 Fast and Furious game, you've got to go and collect 10 cars. And this is a world in which somebody will give you a very expensive car and tell you to go and race a helicopter. And then if you beat the helicopter, you get to keep the car. But then you have to give it to the guy who set the race up. I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, the basic premise makes absolutely no sense. And you go through the game and you collect the 10 cars, and it's as simple as that. You'll generally have an introductory mission which sets up a race with said car, and then you beat said car, and boom, you own said car, just like in real life. but they do have some variety to the missions. There's one mission where you have to take a McLaren P1 home without scraping it, without causing too much damage to it, which is of course the hardest mission in the game because you crash round corners. That's how you play racing games. My little brother, who's 12, I spoke to him about playing this game, so he downloaded and played it, and his response was, I really liked it, but I didn't like that mission where you had to try and get the car home without crashing it, because I always crashed it. There's another mission where there's a whole bunch of boards set up in a car park or airline hangar or something along that line, and you have to smash 100 boards in a given time limit. They try and add variety to the missions, but bearing in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is very much a racing game at heart. The majority of the missions are, here's an endpoint, here's a car, go reach the endpoint in the time permitted. And that is basically the game. You collect all 10 cars, and then you win. Except I've got to point this out. The final race is, hey, we've got to load the cars onto the aeroplane, and this is best done by racing the aeroplane. And I don't really worry about this because, well, it's a racing game. Of course they have to race to get to the aeroplane. Don't know why they have to race it, but they do. And there's 10 cars in this race because you have collected 10 cars throughout the course of the game. So why do I have to drive the slowest car? I've gone and got a Bugatti Veyron. I've earned a Bugatti Veyron. And I have to drive some random 70s Charger rubbish. I don't want to do that.
Sweet ride, but it ain't the one for this event. You want to get in the right car?
Now, I said this game is an awful lot like Forza Horizon 2, and actually every time you pause it, there's a handy little link to the marketplace to buy the full version of Forza Horizon 2. Cheers for that, boys. And that extends even to the extra stuff to do during the game. Now, there is a bucket list for those that haven't played Forza Horizon 2. This means that you find a car, and there's a challenge to complete within the car. It might be to collect a certain number of skill points within a certain time period, or get to a certain point in a certain time limit. And it's a fun little diversion. The problem is there's only 5 of them, and they're all really easy. On Forza Horizon 2, I forget exactly how many there are, but there are a whole bunch of them. And they are rated easy, medium and hard in terms of difficulty. On the Fast and Furious game, they are only easy or medium. I think a couple of them I had to redo once. And I'm not an especially skilled Forza Horizon 2 player. You will bust most of these out the first time you play the game, and there's only 5 of them. They are a fun little distraction, but they're very easy. The only other 2 things to do aside from the main mission is that there are 20 boards around the game that you have to smash. I got to 15 and got a little bit bored because the other 5 weren't marked on the map, and the only other thing to do in the game is to drive every road. If you look at the map, the highlighted roads you've driven on, the unhighlighted ones you haven't. And you could, if you wanted, drive around all 140 roads, I think. 135, something like that. It's not a fun distraction. There are ways that they've tried to lengthen the game, but they don't work. So in terms of how it's different to Forza Horizon 2, there are a few differences. You get skill points for basically everything, and you get new cars. But the thing is that you don't earn new cars like you do in Forza Horizon 2. You don't earn points from races and spend those points on new cars. There are 10 cars to unlock. You unlock them through the story mode. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. You don't really gain it. There's no real incentive to build up these points. Speaking of the skill points, when I say they're given for everything, I mean they're given for everything. There are ones like near miss that are given for almost crashing. There are ones like sideswipe which are given for lightly crashing. There are ones like wreckage and landscaping that are given for actual crashing. And there are ones like great driving or clean driving which are given for not crashing. So when I say the skill points are given for everything, I mean they are literally given for everything. Except if you crash too much, your skill chain ends. But I suppose that's to be expected. So I suppose with this being a review, I should render some kind of verdict on this game. Now, as a Fast and Furious game, It basically fails. There are some advertisements here and there. Speaking of which, there's only one radio station. I'm assuming that music had paid to be in the game, which helped to finance it, and I was given it for free, so I shan't complain. As a Forza Horizon 2 game, it works as an extended demo, and it is a very good extended demo. You can see how well it plays, you can see the kind of missions it gives you. If you like Forza Horizon 2, you will like this game. If you like this game, you will get a lot out of going and buying Forza Horizon 2. So it makes sense in that particular way, but the question is, should you buy it? And my verdict is going to differ depending on whether you got it for free or whether you have to buy it. Now, if like me, you downloaded it while it was free on the Xbox Live Marketplace, I'm going to give it 5 Wassies. I've got to give it some kind of measurement, might as well give it out of 5, and I've got to do something. I've got to find 5 somethings, and I'm going for 5 Wassies. As a free game, if you complain about this, I don't know what you're looking for. And I completed it in an afternoon, I should point that out. I did all 5 bucket list challenges, the whole career, and got 15 out of 20 boards in an afternoon's play, about 4 or 5 hours. It wasn't a terribly long game, but it was completely free, and I enjoyed those 4 or 5 hours immensely. If, however, you're paying £12 for it, I would give it a very understated 2 to 3 Wassies. Let's give it 3 Wassies. Because the fact is, it's not very substantial. It's a lot of fun while it lasts, but it's not a very substantial game. And on the Xbox One, you've got both Forza 5 and Forza Horizon 2. And both of those games can probably be found second-hand on eBay or Amazon for not much more than about £12. And in that respect, I cannot recommend this game to actually go and spend money on. If you're a die-hard Fast and Furious fan, and you really want a Fast and Furious game, you are going to get some kicks out of the achievements, but that really is it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're completed everything on Forza Horizon 2 and want some more missions, this will do it nicely, but it's not really substantial enough to recommend wholeheartedly over games that you could probably pick up for not much more money. As always, make sure you like this video, make sure you comment, have you played this game, did you like it, have you paid money for it, did you download it when it was free, tell me how many Wassies you would give it out of 5, and if you've got a better idea than 5 Wassies, pop that down in the comment section as well. Make sure you subscribe to this video, and as always, if you've already subscribed, get a friend to subscribe, and I'll be back with more video game related content, including my review of Pikmin 3 on the Wii U very shortly indeed. Look after yourselves, my name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassie Plays.
The 2015 Dodge Charger. Modern muscle at its finest.